What's up, NFL fans? I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and don't forget to check out and purchase your copy of our latest football game plan book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. We have these available in both PDF and paperback form.
Gotta get away, gotta get away, gotta get away. Can't get no rest. Work all day. When will I learn?
Welcome to FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our 2015 NFL Draft Special. We're going inside the war room with the Houston Texans. We're going to take a look at their team needs to see what players could be possible selections to help fill those needs. But first, let's start off by taking a look at the upcoming picks the Texans have in this year's draft.
First, let's take a look at the mock draft rules. Number one, these picks are based off what I would do as the GM of the football team and what I believe the team needs are. And second, these rankings are my own personal rankings, which you can find on our website at footballgameplan.com/NFL draft. And this is not indicative of where I think these guys will actually go in April's draft. First, let's take a look at some of the team needs for the Houston Texans. Number one, I do think they need help opposite of DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver. I also believe they can use a lot more talent and youth at the cornerback spot, and edge rush depth is another thing that I think they need on the defensive side, along with depth along the offensive line. Devante Parker out of Louisville at 6'3", 210 would give the Texans an excellent 1-2 combination at wide receiver with DeAndre Hopkins. And what I like most about Parker's game is what he can do after the catch. So you can play the short to intermediate game with Parker and go deep down the field with Hopkins. I'm a big fan of the ball skills of Lorenzo Doss out of Tulane, 5'10", 185. I love his aggressiveness, and at times he can be over-aggressive, but teams tend to not throw to his side because of his ability to pick off passes, a two-time All-American while at Tulane. Anytime you pop on a Utah State game, you'll see inside linebacker Zach Vigil making play after play and always somehow ending up with the ball in his hands. That's exactly what you want on the defensive side of the ball. I like Byron Jones' game out of UConn at 6'1", 200 pounds. He still has some rough edges around his game that he has to smooth out, but when you look at his athleticism and his ability to play the football, you have to like what he brings to the table at the cornerback position. In the fifth round, I wanted to add depth in the backfield with Tyler Varga out of Yale, a guy that I think is a true tailback and not a fullback. He can do everything exceptionally well that you want coming from the backfield. I talked about adding depth for the edge rushers, and when you look at Phillips out of Missouri Valley, a two-time NAIA Defensive Player of the Year, this is a guy that just knows how to get to the quarterback. Athletic offensive tackle Brett Boyko out of UNLV at 6'7", 301, who's also a CFL draft prospect. I think he bolsters the offensive tackle position on both sides. I got the chance to see Rodney Gunther out of Delaware State live this year versus Monmouth, and he had an excellent game in that matchup. They run a 3-3-5, so he's played all across the defensive line. I think that, once again, just adds depth to that Texans defensive front. Greg Mance out of Toledo at 6'4", 301 will be coming off an injury, but I do like his ability to play guard as well as center equally as effective, and I think he provides depth again along that offensive line. And rounding out the Texans mock draft, I look at Eli Harold out of Virginia, 6'3", 247. I gave a fifth-round grade to him because he has a lot of rough edges to his game. I think he should have went back to Virginia for another season, but at this point in the draft, he would provide excellent value for any defense. So let's recap my Texans mock draft, and as you can see, 10 selections, heavy defensive focus, 6 guys on the defensive side of the football, but the one impact player I was able to get offensively was the first selection in Devante Parker out of Louisville, who I think can help out this football team instantly. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Texans fan forums for always showing football game plan support.